Are you struggling with a dog that won't eat no matter what you're serving? I'm going to show you how to get their appetite back, what to do step by step, and how to solve the problem of a dog or a puppy that's not eating. If you have a little puppy like these two that isn't eating well, it can be scary. I've raised lots of puppies and trained loads of dogs here at SVCC Toy Schnauzers. I'm Sean Kent Hayashi, and we're sharing our secrets with you about how we keep our puppies, our mom dogs, healthy by making sure they're getting the nutrition that they need. These are 3-week-old puppies. They are just learning how to be weaned. I want to show you what happens when we start weaning little 3-week-old puppies, because it will help you understand why we do what this process takes several weeks. We start around 3 weeks old so that by the time the puppy is 8 weeks old, they no longer need to nurse from mom. This is Nellie, their mom. She's such a good mommy. Yes, you are, Nellie. When we teach little puppies how to be weaned, we start with just a little tiny bit of puppy food, and we put it right into their mouths and right up against the roof of their mouth, just like this. So a little tiny, you could say maybe pea-sized amount, and we open their mouths and put it right up against the roof of their mouth. Now, if you're wondering what this is canned puppy food from Origin. This is a really great, high-quality puppy food, and we highly recommend it. We use it with all of our puppies. You will find every product that I reference in this video on my website, svcctoys.com. Please see the shop button right here, which will take you to our favorite products, and you will be able to see the food supplements and foods that we use with our puppies. This is the canned Origin food that I was just mentioning. If you're wondering who's making the squeaky noises as you're listening to this next part of the video, I have 2 8-week-old puppies right next door in the little playpen, right next door to where we are filming. And that's who's making the squeaky noises, because they're wanting some of the food too. They love to play on this slide. But here, watch as we continue to feed these 3-week-old puppies. And in a few minutes, you'll see these 8-week-old puppies back again. So again, tiny little bit of this right up on the roof of their mouth. And this is how puppies begin to learn to eat. So here we go. This is our 4th little puppy. Yeah, there we go. All right, where I want to show you next is that even with mom dogs, we sometimes have to do this too. Mom dogs, for example, get so focused on their puppies that they may not want to eat. So I take a little bit of the canned puppy food and I put this right in the top, the roof of mom's mouth, and she will immediately eat. My dogs are social eaters, and they will often not start eating until they see that I'm eating or that someone else is eating. So when mom dogs and dogs that seemingly aren't hungry won't eat, I just take a little bit of food, put it right in the roof of their mouth, and then they start eating. Now, typically what will happen is I can then, just like this, put some food in front of them, and they may start eating it without me needing to put it into the roof of their mouth. This is one of my first go-to options if a dog or a puppy is not eating. Having some canned puppy food That will help tremendously when and if this occurs. The puppy food has very high nutrition in it, and so it will help to fill in any missing gaps, even for dogs that are full grown. When we feed little puppies like this, it inevitably gets them hungry, and so then they want to start nursing, which is a great thing for little puppies. So even with an 8-week-old or 9-week-old puppy, when the puppy first goes to its new home, I recommend that new owners, new family members, hand feed their puppy just to get the puppy started. And then the puppy might begin to eat on his or her own. If they don't, just keep doing a little bit right in the roof of the mouth. Some common reasons why dogs and puppies don't eat. The biggest one, stress. If your puppy has just come to your new home, there's been a tremendous amount of stress. If your dog is exposed to something that's causing them a lot of stress, or if you are feeling a lot of stress, your dog might be carrying that tension for you and thus not eating. Another thing that may cause a dog or a puppy to not eat is dental issues. So in puppies, as they are teething, they may stop eating. Their kibble just might be too crunchy for them to chew on appropriately when their teeth are bothering them, even if you're using the small breed puppy food. It just might be too much of a hardness against the tooth that's feeling a little painful, which is again why I recommend having a little bit of puppy canned food or puppy mush available. You can also turn this into a puppy mush by adding hot water, letting it sit for a little while. A dog with a tooth that's sensitive or an issue with their gums may also stop eating. With dogs and puppies that have teething problems, a sore tooth, I highly recommend Stat. This gives a dog or a puppy all the nutrition they need. It's very dense. Let me show you how it works. So it's in a tube. You can squeeze it out, put it right on your finger like this. They love the taste of this. They love the texture, the flavor, all of it. You can put that right in the roof of their mouth and they will be very happy to eat this. So if for some reason your dog hasn't eaten today, or a puppy, let's say, has been on an airplane for a couple of hours, have some of this handy, put it right in their mouth. This helps them get the nutrition that they need. Dogs may not be eating because they may have been given way too many treats. We use a dog's kibble and treats for their training routine. It's possible for a dog to get enough food from their routine of doing their training such that they don't need more food than that. If you have a training routine with your dog where you are using their kibble and perhaps some treats for rewarding when they're learning, please don't expect your dog to eat full bowls full of dog. I have some puppies that love their training routine so much, and they love the interaction, the attention. They'd rather eat their meals through the training routines that we do with them. This leads us to a really important question, and that is, how much does a dog need to eat? I want you to be aware that in the wild, dogs don't eat every day. So they only eat what they catch, what they hunt. And sometimes they may take a day and rest. Usually the back of your dog food bag or can will tell you, based on weight, what amount of food the dog should be consuming in a day. but I don't always find that to be accurate for my dogs. And so I would encourage you to just watch over time to see how much does your dog typically eat. And then if there's a big variation from that, pay attention. Of course, with puppies, they're growing. They need access to food all the time throughout the day. And that may change, meaning the volume of food is going to increase as they continue to grow. With a full-grown dog, again, there are times where they may go a day or two and not be so hungry. I believe in the wild, they didn't always eat. When a dog's hormones are changing, when they're coming in season, if there's an in-season female nearby a male, these things can cause a dog to stop eating for a period of time. The supplements, the things I've shown you today, you can use, but don't get too panicky if that's the case. Mom dogs, when they first have their puppies, will not leave their puppies. And so this is another reason why it's so important for us to make sure that we are hand feeding mom dogs right after they've had their puppies. This would also be true after a dog has had surgery or some other medical condition that may be impacting its appetite. Dogs pick up on stress around them. They like calm routines. Keeping the food bowl in the same space, keeping the water bowl in the same space is a good thing to do. If you have multiple dogs, like I do, you'll probably want to have multiple food bowls available for them. Making food appetizing. What can you do? Well, we regularly use wild Alaskan salmon. You can get it in lots of forms. We like wild fish for our dogs, and they like it too. I can tell you that our dogs also love a baked sweet potato. So you could bake the sweet potato in an oven, you could put it in a microwave oven. Mixing in the sweet potato, the salmon with their kibble is a really great way to make food more appetizing. Things like salmon oil, a sprinkle of some wild Alaskan salmon flakes also can be helpful. We like to add goat milk, probiotic, and colostrum if a dog has not been eating for some time. And we also use these with our mom dogs regularly. Foster Care is another product that I really like. This is a puppy supplement. It's a formula. When a new puppy arrives at your home, or when you have a dog that isn't eating, you can mix up some of this puppy formula by putting some of this into a glass with some hot water and then draw it up into a syringe. When I make this, I get the water warm, hot. I put typically 2 scoops into a glass. I can also weave in some of these other powders, such as goat milk or colostrum. The colostrum is fabulous for little puppies. The goat milk and the probiotic add extra nutrition. I'm going to make sure the water's hot. By the way, the probiotic is great mixed into the kibble or the puppy canned food. It doesn't work so well when mixed into a liquid because it doesn't dissolve. However, the goat milk and the puppy formulas, they dissolve very well. Here's what they look like. These dissolve beautifully in the warm or hot water. What I'm showing you now is the Foster Care formula and how I feed it with a syringe. All of the products that I'm mentioning can be found on my website shop, SVCC Toy. Here's what it looks like. So the formula, draw it up in a syringe, and she is quite happy, loves this. I will help it along by just opening her mouth just a little bit and inserting the syringe and then just slowly putting it in. Again, my dogs love this so much, they will come over and try to drink it out of the glass. I typically don't want them drinking it out of the glass or out of a bowl because it gets their beards very, very sticky. So that's why I particularly like to use the syringe. And again, you can see she loves this. And in order for me to really get it in there, well, I just need to pop her mouth open a little bit. These little ones also get very excited about the opportunity to have some of this too, licking their lips already, saying, I want some, I want some. Yes. With a dog that perhaps is recovering from surgery, or a dog that has some reason why it's not as mobile, this will help get nutrition into your dog, even though they may not be standing up to eat well. If you're wondering what this cord is, this is a heating pad that's under the puppies. We like to keep all of our puppies warm, and so in half of our whelping box, we have a heating pad, and in the other half, we don't have a heating pad, and that way our little puppies can get to a space where they could be warm or cooler depending on the temperature of the room. You can see here how Nellie is really enjoying this, and she's happy to be getting nutrition this way so that she can play with her little puppy. The other thing is, if we ever need to hand feed a puppy like this, we can use the canned food that I showed you just by putting it in the roof of their mouth, but we can also take this formula, and when we do, we make sure we're holding the puppy up so that their back is high. We're not putting the puppy on their back. But you can see this puppy loves this formula. So again, they get used to eating this at a young age, and they're very happy. Notice I'm keeping the puppy's back up. I'm not flipping the puppy over like you would feed a baby. I would not feed a puppy this way. That could very easily cause it to choke. But going this way with the back up works very well when feeding a little puppy like this. You like that, don't you? Yeah. Yeah, yummy. Mom likes it so much, she's going to lick it right off the puppy also. She'd be happy to have some more of that. I want to repeat again the importance of having products like this available in case your puppy or your dog does not want to eat. The wild Alaskan salmon, the colostrum, the probiotic, and the goat milk. Mix all this together and they'll start eating. Another thing that I love to use with puppies and dogs is hamburger meat. So just like you might cook hamburger meat without any seasoning, you could do that for your dog or puppy. When I'm questioning, is this puppy sick? Does this puppy have a problem going on? I'm going to examine the puppy's poop. Is the poop nicely formed? Is it solid? If so, there's not so likely a problem. But if your puppy has diarrhea, there might be an issue that is preventing your puppy from being able to digest food properly, and that might be something like giardia, which causes puppies and dogs to not want to eat and to become lethargic. Here's what I do to determine if that's the case. I'll take a little bit of hamburger meat in my hands, put it up to their nose. If they start licking and they start eating it, I'm usually not so concerned. If a dog, puppy, won't eat hamburger meat and they haven't eaten anything else in quite a while, that may be a sign that this dog has some sort of problem or issue that would necessitate going to a veterinarian. So again, if a puppy or a dog hasn't eaten in several, let's say, most of the day today, and I put a little bit of hamburger meat in front of them, if they don't start licking that and eating that, I say, now this is my cue that it's time to call the vet. What could be the issue? Well, one thing is giardia, a bug, if you will, in dogs causes them to not want to eat. If you have a puppy that is very lethargic, if you have a puppy that has been through a lot of stress recently, and it's not very playful, it's not willing to eat hamburger meat, there's your red flag waving. Get this puppy to the vet. Ask for a giardia test, among other things. If you have a playful puppy or dog that's just not eating for some reason, try mental stimulation like this. Kinds of snuffle mats can also be great for incenting a puppy to find his or her food hidden in. So you could take some kibble and pour it into these, the crevices, if you will, in these mats. And that makes for a lot of fun. My dogs are social grazers. What I mean by that is they'll eat a bite or two out of their food bowl or out of a mat like this, and then they're done for a couple of hours. So if your dog isn't eating the entire food bowl that you've put down in front, don't think that's a problem. Particularly if you've gotten a dog from me. 2 or 3 bites, a few hours later, back to get a few more bites. If you're chasing your puppy around with a bowl of food, trying to put it under their nose, if you're anxious about your dog eating, you're causing a problem. Stop it. So trying the tips that we've given you today, these will get your puppy, your dog, eating. And if not, then it's time to calmly call the vet. There's not a crisis if your dog hasn't eaten today. If your dog goes a day or so without eating, if a really young puppy is going more than several hours without eating, yeah, you need to call the vet. But when you choose to call the vet, do so from a place of calm, cool, collected, not from a place of stress, because your dog will pick up your stress. This is my YouTube channel. And when you're on my YouTube channel, you'll find that there is a section here called playlists. Click that button and you will discover lots of different playlists that help to organize my 700 plus videos. One of the playlists is called Setting Your Puppy Up for Success. All things puppy. Another playlist is specifically about puppy food, supplements, and worming. You'll find this video in both of those playlists. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the like button below, subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you join us on our adventures as we train puppies to become beloved family pets. Would you write in the comments below which tip I shared in this video that you appreciated most? What will you do? What will you try as a result of watching this video? Also, if you have practical experience, if you have a background in dogs and nutrition, please feel free to share your comments and recommendations also in the comments below.